In this video, I'll introduce you to my amazing new Felder jointer and planer machine that allows me to joint and plane boards up to 16 inches wide. Hi, I'm Joshua Farnsworth. Welcome to my traditional woodworking school here in Earlysville, Virginia. As a historical furniture maker, I absolutely love building furniture with wide boards, like many of the furniture makers of the past used. I also dislike gluing up wide panels more often than I have to. So that's why I've wanted this 16-inch Felder jointer machine ever since I saw the one that my friend bought years ago. And I've also seen a lot of guitar makers use this Austrian-made machine. The Felder machine came in a perfect time, right at the height of the pandemic, when my school had to be closed and I turned into a hermit pretty much. A time when I could focus on making more furniture, which now includes really wide boards that I don't have to glue up. I feel like I've used this Felder AD 941 jointer enough to share a credible opinion. For a little background, before I got this Felder machine, I had to spend a lot of time and effort to flatten wide boards. One time-consuming method I used was to remove the guard on my old 8-inch Grizzly jointer and join enough of a face so I could then hand plane down the high spot, and then send it upside down through my wider Grizzly planer, and then flip it and repeat. You may have seen this in the video I did on building the dovetail braced bench. This is a very lengthy and frustrating process, especially on a larger project, like when I was building some bookcases recently. And it never felt very safe removing that guard. The other method I used for squaring up wide boards was to use hand tools. I really love this process, but it stops becoming fun after I move past 2 or 3 boards. So my dream was to get this combination machine that would fit nicely into my school and allow me to square up large, beautiful boards. And I'm happy to report that it has worked really great. I was able to get rid of my Grizzly jointer and planer and free up space here in my shop. The machine was delivered on a larger pallet than I expected, and it was a bit tricky to get it down to the floor from the pallet, but with the help of a bunch of friends, we eventually got it safely off the pallet. Before my first use, I thought it would be frustrating to have to convert back and forth between the jointer and the planer, but it's actually been quite easy and fast to do. I was also intimidated because I thought it looked complicated to use. But it's actually very simple to use. And this is how I use it. I adjust the fence a little wider than my board. And then lock it in place. I move this cool European style guard over the top of the helical head cutter. Then I turn the power knob on and check the depth of cut. I try to take a nice light cut. Next, I can hold down the green start button until the cutter head comes to full speed. And then I proceed to joint the board's first face. I feel a lot more comfortable with this style of guard than with my old broken Grizzly guard. Because it covers the whole blade, it's safe enough that I don't have to use a push stick. I just glide my hands over the fence to keep good downward pressure. I do really pay attention to make sure my fingers don't slip under the guard. After a few passes, the board looks completely flat and the finish is the finest I've seen from a power jointer. Next, I flip the board on its edge and I joint the edge square to the fresh face. Once the edge looks good, I push the red button to turn the motor off. Then I also turn off the machine's power knob for extra safety. I unlock and slide the fence forward and lock it down again. I next unlock the knobs below the front handles and lift the jointer table up in the air. It's actually very easy. I flip the planer head over and move my dust hose and cyclone trash can setup over to the right side. Then I turn the power knob back on and twist the little knob to move the base up closer to the head where it looks like the right fit for my board. At this point, I can hold down the green button until the helical head comes up to full speed. Then I let it go and move around to the left side of the machine to shift the planer into gear. Now I slide my board a little way under the cutter heads. Then I push the white button to make upward micro adjustments until the cutter catches onto my board and starts pulling it through. Sometimes I have to push it a few times to get the board to pull all the way through on the first pass. Before the next pass, I lightly push the white button 1 or 2 more times to bring the base up a bit more. Be careful not to overdo it or you'll take too heavy of a cut. Once all the rough wood is gone, or I'm at my desired thickness, I can disengage the gear and press the red stop button. And I really don't pay attention to the red digital numbers here since I measure my thickness directly from the board with a combination square. Like I said, the surface finish is very nice with very little sanding or hand planing to do before finishing, even on figured wood. The silent power cutter heads with the carbide blade inserts appear to be the highest quality, and they can easily be turned or changed out if you chip one or if they eventually get dull, which doesn't happen very fast. And I'm still amazed that I rarely get snipe on my boards like I did with my Grizzly thickness planer and every other thickness planer that I've owned for that matter. Snipe is a major pain that either causes me to wastefully cut 3 inches off of each end of the board or have to move back to the jointer to resurface each sniped face. So to me, this is a major benefit of having such a high-end machine with tight tolerances. The 4-column table support is what gives the stability to the planer's table. On my Felder, I ordered the optional mobile base, and I'm incredibly glad that I did. My Grizzly machines were really difficult and awkward to move around, and eventually the mobile bases stopped working so well. So I wasn't sure how a machine this heavy would do on a mobile base. But the design is really different than on my budget model machines like my Grizzly machines. I installed the caster wheels on the rear of the machine, and then I attached the mounting plate to the front of my machine. And this handle clips into the mounting plate, and I simply push down and the machine lifts up. And you can see here how easy I can maneuver the jointer around my workshop. This is actually really important for my school so I can easily move the machine back into place when classes are in session. I'll be straight up, this machine isn't cheap. You can check out the current pricing at the link in the description below. That link will also give you all the technical details that I'm actually not smart enough to repeat here. But if the AD 941 jointer plane is beyond your current budget, then Felder actually makes an affordable 16-inch jointer planer combo machine like this under their Hammer brand. And there's also a link to that in the description below. The Hammer model is plenty suitable for any smaller professional or hobbyist woodworking shop. The Hammer line also has other sizes of jointer planer machines if you don't need a 16-inch jointer. And all of the Felder brands have extensive line of woodworking machinery. So that's my review of my new Felder AD 941 jointer machine. As you can tell, I'm quite smitten with this machine and also pretty impressed with the wonderful Felder company. They've been a joy to work with, from delivery to giving me advice on assembly and tuning it up. So if you want to see more of my videos, consider subscribing below and click that notification bell so you won't miss the upcoming videos. If you have questions or you want to share some of your thoughts, please do so below this video. And if you found this video to be helpful while you're down there, please consider giving a little thumbs up. It takes you just a second and it really helps me out. So I'll see you next time here in my workshop. Hi, I'm Joshua Farnsworth. If you like this video, I've got a whole bunch of other free woodworking videos and articles at my website, which you can visit by clicking right here. You'll go to woodandshop.com. Down here, if you click, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. And over here are some really great other videos that I think you might like to check out.